Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Rule the Waves as Japan, deep into our war with the United States. Episode 31 if I'm not mistaken. So we've already been at war for a year and a half almost, and not a whole lot to show for it. I shouldn't say that because in terms of ships sunk, we've already given the Americans a fair go at it. Basically that one big battle of Alaska accounts for almost the entirety of the fleet engagements, and after a year and a half, well, if we put this in terms of World War II, remember that after Pearl Harbor there was very few engagements until Midway, right? There was just this, the Japanese progression and island hopping, but yeah, it kind of makes sense that you build up to these big battles with these smaller engagements around the side. But that does mean that basically, I didn't really, Fukuro's been interned. So has the Lei, or Lee. Coastal raid with 65. I'm not going to accept this because who knows. Convoy attack is, it's more, that's something more we'd like to do. I didn't really manage my fleet there, and that was probably a mistake. So it looks like the Osurashi is going to come back, but the Lei has been interned. Where the hell is the Lei? I guess she doesn't even appear because she is interned. But that's the risk we have to manage when we're in the West Coast. So I don't know if they have any forces in the Indian Ocean. Yeah, they don't. Let's actually pull our battle cruiser out of there then, because we have the Sagamis who will hold down the fort there. Two of them together can probably take on any one other ship, I'm hoping. Especially if we have poor weather conditions. Longer range would probably impact them poorly, so longer visibility. But I'm going to shift this one over to the West Coast. So you'll probably get there in 3 turns. I could actually do it this way. We can move them to the Southeast Asia. And the Southeast Asia one can move, just do a shift to the West Coast, and that'll take 2 turns. That's a little bit better. How is our... Yeah, so we have some problems going on here. Let's try to save these Kusamas because they are very valuable. Plus, we've already kind of eliminated the fleet here. Like, what I want to do now, what I probably can do, is just move 2 Sagamis over to continue to put pressure on the invasion chance. I don't know how many ships the Americans have in Northeast Asia. Just 1. Yeah, they don't really have anything left, and really all they have going for them in Southeast Asia is the Philippines, which will still be very nice to take, a value of 5, so I hope we do initiate some kind of invasion there. But that's up to the game. Okay, so more of our, really these are, I was joking, I think with Blinson we were joking about different names to call these things. Merchant torpedo boats is really what they are, MTBs, instead of motor torpedo boats. Coastal raid, they didn't accept it before, this is almost certainly not with the full fleet, but okay, we'll do it. Yeah. Okay, well the Akai Hana no Okuma, these are 2 good Kusama class, so that's kind of exciting. If they take any damage, unfortunately, we're going to have to risk losing them to internment, though. And that's not what I want to see. But the good news is this will be a very straightforward engagement because it's a very narrow channel of approach. So, we'll probably just go squad max and then 1 second. Okay, and now we're back. So, like I said, I think this will be a... pretty straightforward engagement just because the narrow waters that we'll be traveling through. Probably just go up to fast to let this happen kind of quickly. Good visibility, which is good. It's going to help us for sighting ships. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. We're at 22, so it's not the fastest, but it's a good, I think, cruising speed in hostile waters. I think the optimal tendency might be to just go to max speed immediately, but I kind of like to be a little bit realistic about it. They wouldn't necessarily go to max speed right away. They probably would accelerate to max speed if they saw something, and we definitely see something quick here. That looks like a destroyer, and it is. Okay, well we'll just stay on it then. If we can land a few hits. Did we get any yet? 2? 1. Couple more. Those are probably devastating. We have that patrol boat we want to come back for, but this is something, a permanent fixture on the strategic map. That's if it says patrol boat, it's an automatically generated part. So that doesn't actually sink a real ship in the American Navy. It's just something that you can kind of think of it like coastal defense. Now, we have chased this guy for a long ways. He's put up a good show, but at some point, buddy, you're just gonna have to call it a day. Okay, let's give it wide berth, get all of our guns going. We have to be a little bit careful, obviously, about torpedoes. We'll slow down a little bit as well because it's over. He's heading himself into a corner. So we'll come down to 24. I think that's okay. And then we'll just... Okay, looks like he's coming to a stop. Coasting to a resting point for his decline. Alright, now let's head back and actually get that other one because I think the objective is just to take... Oh, it's only one ship. Okay, so we've already accomplished our objective, which is nice. Aha. Now this is more likely the troublesome situation. I think that this could be a cruiser-on-cruiser action. Right here. So, whoa, it could be worse than that. Oh, group of... Okay, there's a light cruiser. Let's not get hit by torpedoes. Yeah, we'll just kind of rail into them. We have a Birmingham class here. I think that our ships are better than theirs. They have 6 5-inch guns. We have 8 6-inch guns. They have worse belt. Yeah, this is actually a really good situation for us. Both of our ships are in... Oh, okay, that's troublesome. I don't know if that was a... I guess that wasn't a torpedo launch. That was actually just the ship. Okay, that's strange. No, no. Oh, God. Another ship. My God. What does this class have? 5-inch guns. It's as big as the Birmingham, so we have to be a little bit careful about those. I want to follow the Birmingham. There's a Reno class here. She's actually going slow, and another ship. My God, we're just running into the whole Navy. Now, this is definitely a better ship. Let's get wind side on her and actually just go ahead and try to take out the Reno. She looks like she's also making a move, but she was a little bit slow, so we should have a... Okay, that was not a good start, but... We should have a small advantage to start. Now it's our guns versus hers. It should be more of ours versus less of the hers. But she is off and running now. Are we slowed down? We are, significantly. Well, we already destroyed one of their turrets. That means that whoever is slower here just has to detach because we need to get this ship. I think it's the Akai Hana no Okuma. Another unknown ship. That's probably a minesweeper or transport ship. Okay, we will be able to stop them. They're going to run into the end of the... Running into the island here. Or I guess the peninsula. Spotting a few unknown ships. I guess... No, is that the same one? Nope, it's not. Okay, well, let's... Oh, man, we are taking a punishment here. Why is this one ship doing so much better? You know, the Akai Hana no Okuma, she had her chance to... Red Nose, you had your chance. It was a fair fight, and it looks like you were just beaten. The Kurai Inazuma might actually win the day for us here. I'm going to detach the Akai Hana no Okuma. Let's get her out of here. Return her to the nearest. And let's see if the Akai Inazuma can perform a little bit better. She is so far. Okay, this is perforated uptakes, that's fine. Now, it is a 2-on-1 here, but at least we're getting our other ship out. Let's just peruse at range here. Why are you not firing your... Oh, you're almost completely out of ammunition. Okay, well, let's spin back. Circle away a little bit. Let's encourage torpedo launching. Let's see if we can get a few torpedoes in there. Okay, a ship to heave 2. I think it's this one. Man, we are not having a good engagement this time. I think we're not winning this one in terms of like the last time I checked the log, it seems to be mostly going their way. Okay, swivel back again. right at the maximum extent of range. Our ship might not even want to fire from this range, but I don't know if I trust it to get any closer. Launching torpedoes. Where, though, in God's name, are you launching it? We took another hit. Yeah, we're going to be toast if we don't just get out of here soon. We did our job. Let's go ahead and retreat. We can maybe head back and take this ship down here. We know that there's one minesweeper. Just try to rack up a few other victory points. There it is. Right where we thought it would be. Won't be much of a challenge, I think. Yep, detacher. Okay, there it is. It's a goner. And we'll just slow down to a nice saunter of 12 knots. Have you slow down as well. And we'll just kind of convoy them out of here. Okay, and there we go. That's enough. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Oh, she's actually... Can we reattach her? No, good. So a major victory for Japan. I don't know why that's really considered a major victory. We only sank 2 destroyers. Did, you know, medium damage to a couple other ships. I don't know. Not a super exciting one. Unfortunately, I think we actually come out worse because we probably lose our... Well, it looks like we lose both of those Kurosamas, which is not good. Now, if I'm reading this correctly, we don't have any light cruisers. No active light cruisers in... Yep. Let's go get some Hashidati. I don't care. We'll get something and move them in just to help out. Because we do want to continue to put pressure. Now, what's the situation with these? Let's move them all out. No need to take risks at this point since we have secured, I think, control over this sea zone. Ah, man, you'd think we have, but 6 to... No? Okay, well, let's just force the issue even more then. Where do we have any of our dreadnoughts? We have too many, I guess, is the answer in Southeast Asia. Let's move 2 more Fujis into the west coast. Okay. Oh, we forgot to get our AMCs. Interesting. I think we'll fight this. You never know what's going to happen with the torpedoes, right? It's our first battle with the AMCs. Not a big deal if they are sunk, but kind of fun. If I'm not mistaken, you get a few turns where you get to choose when to engage them, or no? No. Maybe that's Atlantic Fleet, not not this game. So we're just going to immediately tell them to launch torpedoes. There's no way she's going to launch as many torpedoes as she has. So, launch them. If we can get close enough. Okay, launch. Launch! That is, of course, the problem with having a very weak ship. I don't think this counts for much against us, but... Okay, 4-7. Let's get everyone else into Europe as well, though. All those... Get the... Oh, they're working up, so we'll wait a little bit longer. Now we'll go by location. Looks like the Kurosamas did not get turned over, which is nice. They should be in Northeast Asia then. Yeah, that's really good to see. Both Kawabi and I are kind of confused about that mechanic, but that's okay. It's working better than I expected it to. Oh, man. Well, if she's in dockyard hands for 4 months, she probably won't be returning for us. That's unfortunate. Cruiser action in Northeast Asia. I don't know what we have here anymore. Looks like we have a battle cruiser, so we'll accept. But is it... Yeah, it actually is. Namikato. Oh, this is one that it returned from raiding in the west coast. Well, this should be a good battle for us. It's another... Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. It's another battle cruiser engagement. I think we come out on top on these. Let's find out. Okay, unknown ship sighted. Go to squad max. We're on the wind side already, so we will get these ships out of screen mode. And we'll get you to pull into support as well. Oh, whoa. We had 2 exchanges already. So we hit them with the 16-inch, we hit them with the 16-inch, they hit us with their heavy guns. We don't know what they are quite yet, but wow, that's a very early success. You know, we may not do as well on some of the light cruiser ones, but obviously when it matters, like right now, this is where we are coming out on top. And I think this is just superior design. Our light cruisers are basically identical to the American ones, so it's not surprising that it's more a roll of the dice. But this is just superior design. Like, okay, wow. It's 10 versus 12, which is not a huge deal. This ship, 47,000, you know, we are pretty much spot on equal with them. Even slightly disadvantaged in terms of tonnage. But I'd give us absolutely the odds-on. I would call us the odds-on favorite to win. Slightly better turret, same deck, much lower battery, but we don't care about that much. Much higher conning tower because Tortuga. And the biggest thing I think that's coming into play is just having 2 extra 16-inch guns. Probably also getting the first volley off is very helpful. One of those first 2 shots we landed destroyed their turret, and probably the other one disabled the other turret. Now they're only firing with, well, they have an abundance of turrets, so they do have plenty of redundancy. We'll give them that much, but they still only have 3 of their 5 turrets, so that's only 6 guns firing, and we're still firing with 11, sometimes 12. Must have a tube down for some reason. We're not loading fast enough, maybe. You also have to be careful about torpedoes. Okay, they are turning away, though, so do we pursue? I think so. We're going to pursue for as long as possible, and then, oh, they're coming to a stop, I think. Okay, we've destroyed 2 of their rear turrets now, so this is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and give... Well, I might as well just run them in myself because I already messed up, but I'm going to give the order to launch more torpedoes because this ship's already slowed. Wait, what? Oh, we had a heavy cruiser eventually identified as just a destroyer. That's a pretty big misidentification. It's very hard to do that, in fact. Okay, so this is already over, we can see. I'm not going to slow down, although it's kind of worse if I go too fast, but it makes us harder to hit. And just a few 16-inch shells, and we could find ourselves with a serious problem on our hands. So, yeah, we're just wiping these ships out left and right. I think it's not yet time. Oh god, this is awesome. The Akali is helping out nicely. I've seen her land a few destroyer hits. This Bainbridge, for example. We could end up taking all of them. I think their other destroyers are not even... I think they're trying to help patrol still, and they don't know how to do it correctly. So then now that should turn into a torpedo assault. It already is. We'll have to make sure we don't get hit by our own torpedoes. There they go. They're in torpedo format. Yeah, this is over. This is definitely over. Let's just circle around and try to get over to the destroyers over here. That looks like... Oh, God. Oh, my God. That's a lot of torpedoes. Oh, my God. 2, 3, 4 hits in the last 2 minutes. This walk class just barely survived a huge barrage. It has another one coming right at it. I'm going to turn away. Just use our rear guns. Oh, wow. The Bainbridge hit. So basically, what we need to target now is this last walk class. Everything else in this water is sinking. And I don't want to get hit. Let's preserve my Namikato for another day. We did hit it with a... Good God. A 16-inch shell. Oh my God. Well, that thing is just dead. Absolutely dead. Took a 16-inch hit. Good luck. Oh, another one. Okay, yeah, just for good measure. Well, we'll come back in for fun. I don't think that they're capable of doing anything. We have to narrow our profile, so this is weird. This thing has taken a lot of hits. There it is. Good. So, minor damage still to us. I don't even know why we took minor damage. Let's investigate that. No, that's obviously not minor damage. Okay, how did we take minor damage? We took 1 hit? which was... Oh, yeah, a penetrating bell to hit, right at the very top line. Okay, well, that was enough to do minor damage to us, unfortunately. I hope it doesn't actually take us out of the fight for moving to the west coast next turn, though. So I'm not going to count that as a big battle, but it does significantly help our victory point situation. So, that's good. Okay, let's just sort by location again. Try to make sure our north... Yeah, a few more of these guys are having some problems. If we end the war within the 4 turns, we definitely get that Hashidati back. Otherwise, I'm not sure internment or... As long as it's intern, I guess the Hashidatis I don't care about. You know what? That is a lot of ships that we need to move back. I think we'll just call them all back for now. Damn it, no. We'll leave the Sagamis... They're only in fair condition, though. No. Yeah, I think we're pulling them all back. Okay, move everyone back to Northeast Asia. We'll have to do this in, like, waves. In fact, what we can do is actually send out the other 2. We have 2 other Sagami classes that are ready to go. So we'll move them over. This is not who I want fighting, obviously, but I think we've done a good amount of damage, and maybe we won't take too many hits. 3 Fujis is fine. I think 2 of them are actually... No, yeah, okay. We'll move this Fuji as well in to help. And then basically it's whoever we have left at this point. To just who can we cycle in? The Krasamas are looking good. It looks like Satori Redux has been finished in time. That's great. Well, you guys just stay out there until you're sunk, I guess. We'll move you to Southeast Asia. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. There should be... Well, actually, since you're about to die anyways, let's just move you over to the Caribbean. That should be fun for you. We'll wait for these guys to finish working up. I could just move them over now, but who cares? Only the Navy can win this war. Actually, let's go ahead and give the resources. We don't need them. So, let's see what happens. Okay, this is a light cruiser, and I don't like light cruiser. If this is like a light cruiser versus a battle cruiser, it's very silly for us to be trying to intercept a battle cruiser as a light cruiser. Because it said that we are intercepting them. So I presume it actually is a battle cruiser, but... Huh. It's a Seattle... I hit space. I hit space 3 times. There we go. Do I want to tangle with this thing? No. No, I don't. It's just better. I mean, what do I have? Takachiho? 6-inch guns. They are quality 1. Only... We won't even get torpedoes off because we go just slightly too fast. Okay. Actually, 28. We can't even run away. Very silly. Let's try to head towards Kanbei anyway. It's about to be nighttime, so... We might be able to get away. Yeah, actually, looks like we will. Well, that was a fun engagement. Zigzag through the mines. And into Kanbei we go. Konranbei, I guess, but fine. Alright, wasn't that exciting? Just thrilling. That's okay, let's see what we have next. You are in the Caribbean now, that's great to see. Okay, we have 4 more ready to go. Raiding, and you're in Northeast Asia. Let's move 2 into the East Coast, and move 2 into the Caribbean directly as well. We gotta put pressure on the Americans. And in fact, because we have budget, let's keep up in the ante. Another 10. Very good. Now we're actually starting to sink some. They returned home. Okay, I don't know why we would be fighting with our AMC in Southeast Asia, but that's kind of weird. Maybe they would have an escort in friendly waters? I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, I'm sure she's doomed. There's not much hope for these guys. Alright, well the only hope we have is just to drive straight at them and launch torpedoes. Oh, there it is. That was pretty quick. Quick and painless. Can't say I can argue with that. Okay, next turn. Oh, finally, an offensive that's very successful. 400 victory points. Now note, 400 victory points in the scale of like a battle is a light cruiser, an armored merchant cruiser, as we just saw, an armed merchant cruiser, I should say. Not very significant, so you're giving up a lot of money to really get nothing out of it. Okay. Well, that is the conclusion. It looks like we've finished. And there it is. We've sold off 27 AMCs. Very good. We got them all back from retirement. Internment, I should say. Well, retirement, that's what I'm thinking about doing now. So, what I'll do is just put a quick cut in this video, and then we'll do the conclusion episode right now. And, yeah, because there's plenty of little things I want to bring up for the conclusion, like fun graphs and stuff. So, I'll be back in just a moment. Alright, so off camera I did resign, so we already have this show history stuff we can bring up. I'll do that in a moment, but we can actually just go to the map and look at the glory of the Japanese Empire, all the expansion we've done through the series. I want to put an initial comment in just about people who might not be interested in looking through. I plan to go through kind of all the ships, just a total review of the series, and I'll probably show stuff like the fun contributions that people have done, the high quality ones, like This Is Incompetent Idiot, we have Finnish Jaeger, Josh Street, several people who have done good contributions, and I'll go through that kind of stuff, and we'll talk about the classes and all that. But first and foremost, for the people who might not want to stay for that, if you have any recommendations or if you have any comments about this series, or more importantly about the series in the future, if you have any recommendations for different games or what you'd like to see in Rule the Waves, let me know in the comment section here, because there's always two special things. The first video, please like it, and then the last video, this is where I really try to ask for your feedback on what you'd like to see next. So this is the one I take the most seriously in terms of recommendations for stuff to do. So if you don't want to stay for all of that, but you have an idea for future content, please leave it in the comments. Or I also, now that I have this Discord, you can find the Discord channel. It's in the very bottom of the video description. Feel free to join that. I've added a recommendations channel to that, and you can just pop in at any point, at any time, and write any kind of recommendation you have for the channel, things you'd like to see, all those things. So if you are stepping off here and you don't want to see like the review of the series, that's fine. So I'll catch you for the next series. But for the rest of you who are staying, boy, what a wild ride. So there's three take-home points that I want to address as let's do our review, and then I want to make sure, hopefully I remember to talk about three takeaway points. One is heavy cruisers, two is raiding light cruisers, and three is armed merchant cruisers. Actually, the third one I can kind of nip right in the bud, just very short discussion. Obviously, the armed merchant cruisers, they don't really perform well, and it's absolutely not worth it to put 40 whatever torpedo tubes on one. Besides being like incredibly unrealistic, it doesn't function well. We saw that all of them, by the time when you can actually add that many torpedoes, you're going to be sunk so quickly that it makes no sense to make the armed merchant cruisers probably at all, but definitely make them with such high quality. So now let's go to the review of the series. I'm going to try to blow through this pretty quick. This will be complemented, I think, best with the history. So this is the war and prestige. I don't really care about prestige, but we have the wars here. Maybe I'll just leave fleet tonnage up because it may have something more interesting, at least, than prestige, which I don't really care about. So we went to war first with Russia and France, the first war of the game, and a double war, my first double war on camera. There were a few to follow. Nothing happened. The war ended early. We went back to war with France, and this is our first territory gains. as here we have the Treaty of Hue. Hue or Hue, I don't know how you would say it in French, and I'm guessing this is French because this is with the French Empire. Anyway, we gained just a little bit of Vietnamese holdings there. So we don't have the Empire of Japan as it was to begin with, but it just lacked this, and we got that. So then moving on, let me do it this way, I guess. Yeah, that'll work. We move on, we just took a little bit of territory, then we went back to war with Germany and with Russia. No territorial gains there. We did, our next territorial gains were against Great Britain. Of course, we had that famous, two famous things. We had the surprise invasion, a surprise attack, I should say, of Weihai, which was very nice to see. And then on top of that, we also had the invasion of Weihai, which led to, as you can see there, the conquest of Weihai, and that was in the Treaty of Port Edward. Obviously, some creative licensing I'm completely allowing. Anybody who wants to name their own treaties or whatever, just try to keep it, if one person does it, that becomes the canon, so try to see if anybody else has already named the treaty or whatnot. I mean, Incompetent, he's obviously given creative licensing because he's been a fantastic supporter of the channel. So, next war we had was... Oh yeah, okay, so that was the Great Britain War, and then the huge war we had with Germany, in the sense that we got massive territorial gains. We're going to see this very nicely from this image. A lot of this stuff that was not yellow before is now, because we got the German archipelago, we got other stuff. Let's just, we can just look at this in the game, I think is easiest to do. So Northern Marianas we got from them, the Caroline Islands, we got all these things. I think we got the Caroline Islands from the Germans. So lots of stuff from them, as well as Cashel Bay. And I think that was the name, oh, it was Tsingtao was the treaty, and I think we got Cashel Bay from that as well. We can see that we don't have the yellow here, now we have it. So I trust Incompetent Idiot, despite his name. All right, the next war we have, and we're quickly running out of them, is with Italy. That was another territorial gain. We got Eritrea. That was the Treaty of Asmar, 1926. Then we had, our next war was with France again. Well, I don't know, it was actually probably England, but then they escaped. But the next war where we had a treaty, we gained territory, Djibouti. 1940, we gained Madagascar, all kinds of Southeastern Asian holdings. And then, yeah, we'll get to the next thing after that is discussion of heavy cruisers, etc. So that's kind of the conclusion. Like I said, fleet tonnage is a little more interesting to look at. But the only fleet drop you see, like there's just a whole lot of this is just controlled by budget. And this is terrible that they start the list at 10. Definitely should start at 0. It just doesn't make sense. Economy, it was great that we finished 3rd overall. We finally surpassed Germany, and I guess by the end, not much to really say about this. Not a whole lot of ships lost. We only lost 3. These were all the Azumos, so that battlecruiser was a little bit weak, and I have some comments about that as well, but we'll wait on those. What was I going to say about economy? Oh yeah, in the end we actually surpassed even Great Britain. This might be due to tensions, but at least we appear to be 2nd overall, which is fantastic for Japan. Okay, so that's that. Now let's go on to the creative drawings from Finnish Jaeger. He had the Fuji class, and this is probably what we would model the Nihon class, and something very similar for the Takeda, because they all had the same design structure, with the 17 inches going up to 18 for the Fuji to the Nihon, and the Takeda also had the 16 inch. Sorry, it was 16 to 18, I think, right? Which one? I can't even remember. What did you have, Fuji? You had 17 inch, okay. No, that was the Nihon. I didn't have 18 inch guns, that's right. So 16 up to 17 for the Nihon, and then 16 for the Takeda. So this, we can imagine, is kind of what those would look like as well. Maybe something more modified for the battlecruiser, because it needs to be faster. Wrong way. No, next I want the Yakumo. The much controversy over the Yakumo. Can heavy cruisers serve a purpose late in the game? And I think this quote sums up my opinion. Their performance per cost is probably the worst in our Navy. Yeah. I'm going to say no. That I know that's not what people want to hear, because it's not. It's fun to have heavy cruisers, and I think that this is something that ties into our love of heavy cruisers from World War II. But in Rule the Waves, which is meant as a World War I game, and it's supposed to end in 1925, remember, I don't think that they serve a purpose. And I don't want to beat a dead horse. We went through this quite a lot, but I basically think that in this game, anything that people were recommending them to me for a while, heavy cruisers. A famous quote, a famous discussion, not even famous, but a least impactful discussion for me was one I had with Ram JB, who said that 3 heavy cruisers can sink a late game battle cruiser. And I was incredulous then, and I think that although I only sent 2 of my heavy cruisers in the last one, I don't know if the 3rd one would have put us on top or not. It may have. However, I would say that for the cost of 3, even if you can take on a battlecruiser, you have way better performance on just getting a battlecruiser yourself. Remember, the maintenance cost of this was like $500,000. I mean, we can, well, I did scrap them, so we won't be able to see them, but it was like $500,000, and we can see that that's almost as much as my heavy endgame ships, which is, you know, ridiculous. Even, yeah, probably we can even compare it against the Takeda. I would prefer Takeda over 2 of the heavy cruisers, but it would be more expensive to maintain 2 of the heavy cruisers. So I think this is a correct statement. It's not really that the era of the heavy cruiser is over. It's just that it didn't ever begin in this game. We're stuck in the armored cruiser era. So that is, I think there's also a retirement date. There it is, 1943. What else do I want to say? Yeah, actually, Captain Josh Street, he included a lot of things, so we can kind of talk about some of the other characteristics. So I won't beat a dead horse with the discussion of the heavy cruisers. You know, I'd love it if they were in the game as well, but we'll wait for Rule the Waves 2 for that. Now, what I will want to discuss next is the raiding light cruisers. I feel like if we look back on the beginning of the series, by the way, just in case I forget to say this, fantastic work by Josh Street recording all these and, you know, putting a lot of like roleplay type fun stuff in, the length, the beam, the drop, propulsion. He even included the armament in each refit, which is amazing. So like this is where I increased elevation. You know, just fantastic, including all the armor. And this is really important for me to look back on. Like I've thank you so much to Captain Street, because it was very helpful for me to see what actually became of our ships. I remember Incompetent Idiot did a very detailed Excel sheet of all the ships and when they were sunk, refit, whatever. And that was also really helpful. It does give you a good idea of how things are going in the game. Now, back to the Izumi. I want to first talk about this and then we'll get to the Chiyoda, which is actually my target point, but just to make a point first about the Izumi, which we can tie into the Chiyoda. Remember that this is the longest serving ship class in the Japanese Navy. 1932, it was retired. Of the 9 we built, we only lost 3 in 32 years of service. Well, 33 if you count 1900 and 1901 as one of the years as well. So 1932 retired, 33 years of service, and we only lost 3. And these were constantly in the fights, and they always performed very well. So this is what I want you to take away from, that you can build a light cruiser which can hold its own into the very late game, despite not having very much speed. So my idea is, okay, the Chiyoda class, I think it was a bust, right? We had constantly those raiding battles that would constantly detract from the gameplay, because it takes up, you only get 1 battle a month, 1 battle like a turn, which is a month. So it takes away from your ability to gain an advantage with other battles if you're only fighting raiding battles and just running away. Now, in a way, that can be okay if it's early enough where 22 knots can actually get away, because then you're raiding in the background and you're gaining victory points that way, so you don't need the victory points in battle. But as soon as a couple of these are sunk, it puts you so far behind in victory points that they'll never make up for it in terms of victory points that they get from the ships. What they could do is bring the enemy nation to a collapse by putting their unrest higher and higher through raiding, because that is modeled in. But what I think I would do next time is combine the Chiyoda into an Izumi, and I would just make it the Izumi on steroids would be our Raider class. So basically take this, probably drop the speed a little bit, because speed is not ever going to be something that my Raiders can deal. There's no way you can make a ship at 1899 or 1900 in your legacy fleet that's going to stand the test of time in terms of speed. That's the biggest change for light cruisers going from the beginning to the end of the game. The protected cruiser armor does change, it's true, but that's minor. The quality can go up from 6.0 to 6 quality 1. These things are like something, but they're not as significant as the speed increase from 22 up to like 31, 32. So that's the biggest change, and you just can't compete. You can't make a ship that will compete in terms of speed. However, you can make it so that if it is intercepted, they have to make the decision whether to fight or not. And since they will be able to force the fight if they want, because speed, you can't run away, what I suggest is just make something like the Izumi, which can still fight with its 6-inch guns, even though it has like the... Actually, this is 12 6-inch guns, so it's actually a 7-sided 6-inch broadside, which is fantastic. Normally I would make 6 6-inch broadsides, but this one had a 7 6-inch broadside, so it's just a fantastic ship. 2.52, 2.52, perfect armor configuration in my opinion. It's just exactly what it needs to be very functional. And this can serve all the way till the end of the game without really suffering too many casualties. So that's my big spiel about the raiding light cruisers that I want to make. Armored cruisers, we talked about heavy cruiser stuff. I mentioned the armor merchant cruisers, I probably wouldn't use those again. So we'll just go through the rest of the classes quickly. The Honoka, it makes the most sense to talk about the Yasama first. You know, a very solid armor cruiser. I wouldn't say there's anything to change about this. We retired 2 of them in 1930. I remember they served into one of the, I think it was the Second Anglo-Japanese War in the late 1920s. They served well in that one even, but, or maybe, I think we had one engagement, or no, maybe I'm mistaking that for the Yakumo. But these ships are reasonable. Probably they shouldn't last that long, but that's okay. Then we have the Honoka class, which was named after the Honoka Asama class heavy cruiser, or armored cruiser I should say, that was lost in that very unfortunate torpedo incident, or torpedo hit from... She was going to 2v1. That was the exciting thing and the reason why she got her own class, because she almost 2v1'd 2 armored cruisers of... I think they were British, right? Or was it French at that point? No, it was French, because I remember the Latouche Treville and all that stuff. But she got her own ship class because of her performance. And these were actually really underperformed. You saw the Izumi, which was 9 completed, 3 lost, 6 retired in 1932. This one was 6 completed and 4 lost in a less, I would say, roughly the same period of time. So I don't know why those underperformed, because they should have been better in every way than the Izumi, but they just didn't perform as well. Maybe we just got unlucky. Akasa performed well. One of the best ways you can tell that is that even in the Battle of Weihai, these ships were contributing against battle cruisers and dreadnoughts, which is always something, if you have your pre-war battleships contributing then, well, you really got a good ship. So the main thing I would say about future-proofing these, the important thing is the secondaries. I keep these at 6 inches. You add a lot so that at the end of the game, these secondaries are still relevant. They can be upgraded very easily, whereas these twin 2 guns, yeah, they're not going to be useful. So these secondaries are really what keeps the pre-war battleships, possible to use for so long. Akazi, I just want to point out this little funny note. In 1940, when they were all scrapped, and I know that there was several people who were upset because these ships served very well. Speed of 31 at 1913 means that they're functional for the rest of the game, and they were. Despite me throwing them into the fray fast and furious, we only lost 6 of our 20. So 14 retired to Coast Guard reserves. The Izumo, there was actually, in one sense, the least successful ship of the game, because 4 were completed, 3 were lost. Only 1 was retired, but I think this ship served its purpose well. First of all, I would not... Although I'm saying it served its purpose well, I would never design a ship for this purpose again. I prefer battle cruisers, which are heavy. Our hand was kind of forced because we were all the way to 1907 without having either a dreadnought or a battle cruiser. And we didn't have a high gun caliber at that point. I think we still only had 12-inch guns. So I had to make a decision about what to do, if we were just going to wait for high gun caliber or if we were going to make a 12-inch gun dreadnought, which I really did not want to do. And I don't regret the decision. This was just the best we could do with what we had at the time. But I would much rather my first dreadnought or battlecruiser to be 13 inches. And you just want a battlecruiser that can take on other battlecruisers. It makes things a lot easier. And this one cannot. This was only meant as basically a heavy cruiser. So, the Yakumo, well, we don't need to talk much more about her. And last, we can just talk about the two big battles, which were Battle of Alaska and this was 6-on-4, but slightly, I would say even more than that in favor of me, tonnage-wise. But still, if you think about a battle in World War II, which was this lopsided in terms of result, there wasn't any, and this would just be absurd. So this was a dream finish for the Imperial Japanese Navy. Last thing I want to point out is just the extensive list of ships and ship names that we had. Congratulations to everyone who made it into the series. Whether you perform well or not, I mean, it was really outside of your control, right? You had no control, but it was fun that we had so many people interested in contributing. I will say that I probably will next time use the Patreon system that I've been referring to a few times, just because there still are a few people like, I don't know, Stan McConaughey, or, you know, a few people who were in the game probably on episode 1 or 2 or 3, and then probably disappeared, didn't have an interest in following the series. So I'd like to reserve the ship names for the people who are actually interested, and you just keep the people who just stop in for like an episode or 2. It'll be better. The same way I value people who make it all the way to the end, their comments, their feedback. Those are also the people who I'd rather give better ships to. But so I'll work on a system of implementing that. I know that Patreon does link well with Discord, and then I can just put a Patreon only channel in the Discord for ship name submissions. That seems to be the most natural way of doing it, and I've seen that done on other people's channels, like Squatting Frog even. So I might kind of do that, because you can see this is just a ton of names. In the end, I was I tried to get 114 names in there. That's a lot of work to do. So it would be good if these were all people who actually were contributing and stuff. That'd be even better. So anyways, that's going to conclude this wrap-up session. So for the last time, feast your eyes on the expanded Empire of Japan. Obviously a successful gameplay. But this is, I think the Some of Your Ships Lost does tell the tale of a gameplay series as Japan. You're so isolated that you just can't get these numbers as high as you would if you were in Northern Europe or even the Mediterranean, France, Italy, Germany, Great Britain, Russia. All those are going to have much more battles and many more fleet battles than we're going to have as Japan or the United States or anything. So something to consider. Anyways, this episode's going a little bit over, so I just want to say one last time, thank you so much to everyone who stuck with this series all the way to the end. It has been a blast interacting with you in the comments, and if I ever missed one of your comments, it was an oversight. I tried to respond to everyone's. So thanks for your time contributing, and thanks for watching. Until the next series, which will probably be, we'll do the usual 2-week hiatus. So until the next series, go ahead and recuperate yourselves. I will do so myself, prepare myself. We'll be probably doing either Great Britain or Italy, but I'll wait to see what the recommendations suggest. So until then, take care.